welcome back, vintage gamers, to the beginning of a bunch of off-stream vintage leagues. I think that there's a high probability that I won't be able to stream as many Saturdays going forward in the summer as I have been recently, just because there are a lot of things coming up. I have a birthday. I'm traveling to Italy to play in a Four Seasons paper vintage event. There's just a lot of things happening in the coming weeks, so I want to get a video backlog going so that you will always have content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So here we go. This is going to be a vintage league, and I'm going to play with a test PO list. Of course, I am interested in playing PO at the Four Seasons. It is the deck I own in paper completely, so I'm always more likely to play something with PO in it. This is a list I've been testing a little bit, not too much, because there are just really no major online vintage tournaments in the near future until we see another RCQ or perhaps a Eternal Weekend online. There really is just challenges and prelims and leagues, so I haven't been playing too much hardcore PO testing. We have the one main deck Hercules to deal with Arise and Prison Shops. I am testing the 2 opals instead of 3. I'm typically the proponent of 3 opals. I think you just want to be a powerful deck. But I obviously understand the downsides of having multiple opals can give you less viable starting hands. Still on 2 Flusterstorm. I don't really find the metagame to be highly Flusterstorm. Like, it's not a great Flusterstorm metagame in my mind. Like, there are decks you want for Flusterstorm, but like, a lot of the Saga decks, Flusterstorm isn't actually as good as it used to be. I am playing a single dress down instead of 2 dress downs, and the reason is because I'm going to try playing 3 Hullbreachers and a Twister. The reason is Jewel Shops mostly. This is a way to mirror break that PO matchup. And Hullbreacher Time Twister is, of course, an effective 1-2 combo in a deck that already has plenty of effective 1-2 combos. So hopefully this should give me additional firepower as well as mirror breaking tech. We are just going to play 2 repeals as catch-all answers. And we basically are playing a base blue deck, splashing restricted black cards and 1 mentor in the main. But in the board, I'm not going to go with planes this time, but I am going to still play the Balanced Swords of Plowshares package as the way to beat mono white, and extra anti-combo cards with Trap and Negation. I think it's still pretty good to respect Golos, or at least like workshops with 2 Hercules recalls, but the Steel Sabotage instead of another Hercules recall is a nod to Jewel. I haven't actually mapped out this sideboard. It might be a little difficult because we also have a Karn, which is no lattice for our Karn, but Karn as a one-sided null rod is another way to mirror break those matchups. So, of course, follow it up with a pile of 6 cards for Bazaar, and you've got yourself a pretty standard PO deck list, except we're splashing in the Hullbreacher Time Twister combo. We'll run it through a league and see how it goes, and this will be good testing for me for 4 seasons over in Italy. Hope I'll see some of you there. If you'd like to see your deck played on this channel, check out the Patreon link in the description below, where you can find all the information you need to submit a donation deck list. Let's battle. Okay, here we go for round 1 of our Vintage League. This hand is totally acceptable. It's going to be a keeper. Hopefully we get a misstep target, and then we can just slam a Twister with our double Moxen start. Should be powerful enough. Never mind. We will do none of that and probably die. As our 1 payoff spell gets griefed, and then our opponent taps Bazaar of Baghdad and does the Bazaar of Baghdad thing. Dredge is still Dredge. All right. So it's not like we have no options, right? We have Tinker to draw 2. We can always repeal as a cycle off our Sapphire. They did have a Grave Troll Shambling Shell. So they have an extremely powerful Dredge in the yard. So it's going to be a fast Dredge from them. And they obviously can also still have Hollow One or Counterspell. Not actual Counterspell, but Force of Negation, Force of Will, Force of Vigor. see what we can draw here. Tinker? Probe. All right, well, this at least gets to tell us if they do have interaction, which they do not. They do not have interaction, so all we need to do is draw Tinker. Easy, right? It was not easy. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We shouldn't die on this turn, though, so we do have one more turn to top deck. We have quite a few top decks at this point. Tinker, PO, Demonic Tutor. Narset, maybe Narset. Yeah, Narset probably. It's possible I'm supposed to hold these in case I draw Mentor, but I don't think we're going to win that game anyways, so I'm not sure that matters too much. I think at the current pace that they're Dredge, they just had another... I knew they had a Grief, but I don't think I want... Maybe I... Yeah, okay, maybe I should have played the Mana Crypt out. I don't know how much that's going to matter, though. Whereas my life total might let me get an additional draw here. I didn't crack my fetch because I think being able to hold up Brainstorm fetch and get rid of both of my lands would be worth it. Oh. 3, 6, 9, 12, exactly 15 damage. Yeah. So, I mean, they hit, what, all 4 Creeping Chills? That's pretty good. It's kind of unfortunate, actually, because if we simply drew a combo powerful spell in our, multiple draw steps that we had, we just pretty easily win this game. But that did not come to pass, and we have been dealt exactly 20 damage here from Argentaxian Probe. That was a winnable game. Just need to be luckier. So we're gonna bring in Sphinx, Soul Guide, Crypt, Needle, and Tab. And then we're going to take out Hercules, Dress Down, 1 Repeal. I'm gonna leave 1 Repeal in just for Chalice. We did see Chalice. And I don't really have a lot of ways to play through Chalice. Typically, I like taking out 1 island in this matchup. My opponent does play Wasteland, but it's not really a focal point of the matchup, and I want to have less lands in my deck. Mental Misstep is not typically a card I want in this kind of matchup here. And on the play, things like Narset and Hullbreacher are better. Maybe the answer is just 1 Opal. I could see it being like Flusterstorm or Probe or something, but this looks fine. No go. Yeah, that's a hand I'm willing to keep. I think. Yeah. It might just be... So this is something I've been thinking about a lot recently, is when are you supposed to play Hullbreacher? Are you supposed to let them tap? Or are you just supposed to wait? And I think the answer is just, especially if they don't have a force, I think we should just play the Hullbreacher, right? They do have Vigor. Maybe they would have made me play it by Vigoring end of turn anyways. So what they can do is they can actually... I should probably have not played Hullbreacher because I want them to Vigor. Because they can go to 8 cards, discard Shambling Shell to hand size. Is that good? They could also just activate and just give me 2 treasure. It's not a huge deal for them because they can play a hollow one and just discard a Dredger so that they can play around Hullbreacher next turn. The way that Bazaar Baghdad and Hullbreacher and Dredge interact is that This first one here, of course, they're drawing cards, but if you dredge, it's not actually drawing a card, and they can just keep dredging, and Hullbreacher won't really have any effect. So they actually are just gonna forego. They're gonna forego that and not Vigor Me. They kept Prized Amalgam Bazaar. They might have drawn Force of Will for turn if they're keeping Prized Amalgam in hand. And they're going to be dredging next turn, but if they miss on their dredge, they will give us more treasure tokens as well. We drew a PO. That is certainly very interesting. Because my read is that they have drawn a force. And it's going to be tough. I think I'm just going to Tabernacle the Hollow One, and maybe I'll play PO for 2 on their turn to play around negation, and maybe after they dredge as well. I just think that if they're going to pitch this, it makes me feel like they have drawn Force for turn. So let's see what happens with their dredging first. Maybe I let them dredge a bunch, and like that way they get the Force out of their hand. Are they just going to activate Shambling? They're just going to dredge Shambling Shell. And they did hit a Stinkweed Imp. So they now have the ability to activate their Bazaar. I think it's fine to just keep holding here. This dredge missed, though. So I get one more treasure token. And it stopped their second draw. So that's pretty good. So here they can discard Shambling Shell, Shambling Shell, Stinkweed Imp, and one unknown, and they'll probably keep Bazaar in hand and then go Bazaar, double dredge again. They actually got rid of second Bazaar. Okay, so that means they are guaranteed that they kept blue card Force. Okay, well, that's good to know. The question becomes... I mean, I just jam anyways. I'm going to pick up my Hullbreacher too. Yeah. That's fine. So if they have negation as their force, then they can't counter this, which looks like they do. Because if they had a force, they probably would just counter. Well, I think I definitely... Oh, man. Vamping is so bad that I almost don't even want to do it. I think the answer is I don't want to do it. Like, vamping into known negation just seems really silly to me. Unless there was a vamp target that was good here, like a Saga or a Mentor. I do have a Mentor, but I also have a Tabernacle. But maybe the Tabernacle doesn't matter. Those are my only non-creatures, right? Or my only creatures, I should say. All my other things are non-creature. Because I can't get Tabernacle itself. If I had like a Strip Mine, it would be pretty good. I think I just don't want to hinder my draw step here. I don't know. Like, vamping for Mentor is kind of interesting, at least. I vamp for Mentor, use all my treasure tokens, and then go Mox Ring, I should say. And then they all pay for themselves on the next turn. If my opponent suspects that I have a non-creature, or sorry, a non-negatable target, then they have to negate this. And I think this is a good trade for me because now I can actually top deck powerful non-creature spells. I can top deck Soul Guide, Needle, Tormods, Demonic, PO, Tinker, Island. I'll hold one here. Okay, I mean, I think we're currently losing this game, which is pretty unfortunate, but my opponent does have Icarid, Eat Ghoul, and then Dredge. I would have dredged in response here into this Icarid. That was a slight sequencing mistake from the opponent. They did hit all kinds of dredgers and a chill and amoeba, but no amalgams. that they are going to bring back a Silver Smoke Ghoul, a Amalgam, another Mark Amoeba. I guess I have a Tabernacle to answer all of those. Do I care about this Hullbreacher in play, or would I rather save the life? I think it's fine to keep the Hullbreacher in play for 3 life here. They do still have a Tabernacle to answer. They didn't hit any additional Icarids. And they don't have any counter magic anymore. So, I mean, I still think we're ahead of the game. Hello? I'm in pain. All right, so they lose all their creatures. I guess the sequencing that doesn't really matter. So they just have to Icarid me out here because they're just gonna keep dredging, right? So how many chills is the question? They have 3 chills remaining, and they still have an Icarid. So I'm gonna chump this one, but I really need help. I have just drawn all mana again. They hit another Icarid. I technically want to block because if I draw a Soul Guide Lantern, I don't know, maybe I don't want to block. A good reason to not block would be like Time Twister, right? Narset. Narset's fine. Narset has a good look. I'm surprised my opponent hasn't been... I guess they can just end of turn it. I guess now they could technically do normal draws and try to find something good. Is Brainstorm better? No, just cast Ancestral. Now they can like find Mental Misstep if they activate or something. I think I can cast that, right? God, watch me get Mindbreak trapped or something. That'd be crazy. I still drew like really, really badly. Like it's still impressively bad draws. I guess not paying for the Hullbreacher actually let me hard cast the Sphinx this turn, which is kind of crazy. I can't lose here to the Creeping Chills either because I jump blocked. So the block looks like it ended up working out for us, which is kind of funny. I think the block ended up being quite good because we got the extra 1 light or extra 1 mana, and we didn't take initial 3 damage, which means I can't get Creeping Chill out of this game. Or can I? I can actually, because they hit 3 Icarids, right? Wait, so am I gonna lose this game anyways? Three, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And I'm at 17 life. That's so bad. I'm gonna lose this game anyways. I assume they have 6, 5, and 5. Yeah, they can do all their library and kill me. Wow. That is so so sad. So sad. I mean, I just did not draw well at all. Like, I cut an island from my deck and I still drew all mana. I mean, I guess you could say that Hullbreacher could have been... I mean, Hullbreacher was fine. Hullbreacher did its job. Wait, what happened? Did my opponent... Yeah, they... Wait. Okay, yeah, they hit... Yeah, they did everything right. Yeah, I mean, they played it right. And I played it right, and my cards were just not good enough. They just needed to have like one more Icarid not there. And they didn't. Wait, I did the math wrong? Wow, this is a roller coaster. I did the math wrong? Did my opponent not have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18? And I had YouTube comments are gonna eat me up for this one. I forgot that this is pseudo 9 life, not pseudo 6 life, because it blocks one of the Icarids. That shows you just how close this game was. Ooh. Okay. I kept in Citadel. I don't normally do that. Why'd I do that? I don't like Citadel in this matchup. I almost always just play Sphinx. Oh, I didn't bring in balance is why. Though, how good is balance actually? It's not amazing. It can be good though. Man, basic math, huh? Yeah, I mean, that is a large number of answers. The rough part about this large number of answers is that they all get answered by a single force of vigor, but that's how broken force of vigor is. All right, we got a serum powder. Lost an Icarid, that's worth noting. Oh, what are we at right now? We're at 3. Opponent has had mulligan to 3. All right, 3-card mulligan from my opponent is really, really strong for us because we have multiple pieces of interaction. When Dredge mulligans very hard, it's hard for them to have interaction of their own. So if they have a hollow one, ooh, Chalice. Not bad. I mean, Bizarre double Dredger Chalice is quite reasonable. It does stop me from playing multiple spells on this turn. I guess there's no reason for me to probe then. Probably should not have probed. All things considered. We definitely are just going to start by needling Bazaar of Baghdad. All right, their Dredge hits some more Dredgers, but nothing is coming back. And then we wipe their graveyard. We don't actually have to wipe their graveyard. We'll just take one of their Dredgers. And I did miss my land drop, huh? I guess it makes more sense to just hit one of their Dredgers, because if they whiff on this Dredge anyways, I don't even have to pop Lantern. Oh no, they have 2 Dredgers. Yeah, I mean, if they do anything that brings something back anyways, I'm gonna go for it. So my opponent gave me the GGs, but this game is definitely not over yet. I don't have a land. That's a good draw though. Opponent is not dredging. Okay. I actually don't have a Sphinx to tinker anymore. As funny as that is. Force is an amazing draw, though. Is it worthwhile to tinker? Opponent might just concede. I think I'm just gonna pass. Maybe I'll PO the Mana Vault. Maybe I'll just PO both. I still didn't draw a land. Huh. I guess I could just play this Tabernacle out. Better than losing it. Tinker doesn't PO. Maybe that's worse. I don't know. These are mentor triggers, so it's a little hard. I guess I played a Tabernacle, so mentor is not amazing, but especially because I actually can't I can't actually use my Moxen to pay for it. Normally Mentor Tabernacle is not that big of an anti-synergy, though they're gonna force the mentor. That's fine. You got it, because you can normally just pay for the Tabernacle with the things that you use to trigger it. It's okay if they're forcing my mentor, because that means they're not vigoring me. I need to hold this for vigor. I mean, if they end up with vigor in addition to this, it's quite scary, is it not? I guess I shouldn't have gotten rid of Tinker, because now if I hit a land, I can Tinker this Mana Vault into a another Soul Guide Lantern, or sorry, another Needle, Tormod's Grip, something like that. So that was pretty bad. I shouldn't have pitched those cards. I probably should have just pitched these. I was just thinking about Mentor. Wow, they are going to have Force of Will, blue card, Grief, black card, Vigor. Is that what's going to happen here? I don't think I'm supposed to Mystical there. But that also could be wrong. Like, I can Mystical for a repeal and get all my Moxen in play. I don't actually know if that's better than just Mysticaling for PO, though. Probably not. Is there anything better here? Doesn't really seem like it. If I draw any land, I can replay Soul Ring and everything, so definitely worth POing. I'm not convinced I played this game very well. In fact, I probably played this game on the sloppier side of things. I did draw the Brainstorm so that I could actually put my Sphinx back. I mean, I'm just like walking towards hardcast Sphinx, right? That's kind of the direction I'm looking right now. I have hardcast Sphinx on the next turn. They'll have to have another Force of Will to stop me. Yeah, seems like the play. All right. This game was pretty close, actually, for my opponent mulliganing to 3. If they simply had, like, a hollow one, maybe the Chalice is the best option, but, like, I was thinking something like hollow one might be annoying. I don't want to pay for Mana Vault. Still a pretty powerful Brainstorm here. I ended up drawing just more 0-drops anyways. I have a Yogg-Will, but I don't really think I want to cast it. What I do want to do is find another force, but I can't seem to get that done either. Maybe I'm just supposed to Yogg-Will. Seems like it could be fine. Also, maybe I could have just played Hullbreacher so the clock was faster. I guess that doesn't change on this turn here. The only thing I'm trying to do is find a Force of Will. I did it again. A Force of Will to protect my artifacts. And a... That's all I'm really trying to do. I guess I could just, like, Yogg-Will Mystical for a Force of Will, but... just doesn't really feel like a good use. Snap. I guess I could find Time Walk or something as well. All right, I'm gonna just pass attack and then play a Hullbreacher. I still have the ability to spin and find force. I could also technically like snap PO depending on when they choose to do something. They went for it now. All right, so I just need to find a... I guess I just snap Mystical, right? I don't need a Hullbreacher because the snap is going to deal enough damage. I can't force because I don't have enough mana. Mystical, Force of Will, draw, force. So they have to have another piece of interaction, which they don't. Not that I think unlocking themselves here beats a Sphinx anyways, but... So that was a weird game, weird set of matches. Kind of a emotional... What? How do they live? Oh no, first strike damage. Oh my god. What a roller coaster in my mind. My mind, like, it actually wasn't a roller coaster, but in my mind it was because I can't do basic math. Oh, look who we found. A Miharu. See if she's playing any Oath. This hand just does not look good. This hand also doesn't look very good. Am I allowed to put this hand back though? Feels tough. I have just had, I don't know. Deck has not looked good. Say that much. Deck has not looked good. So if I keep this hand and I bottom a force, I go land go, land go. It just doesn't look good. I'm gonna mulligan it. This hand doesn't have mana. I would greatly enjoy a mixture of powerful spells and the mana to cast them. That would be ideal. Man, I swear I put a third opal out of my deck, and I have still seen the most opals I've ever seen. All right, so PO, opal, and I'm gonna just keep both of the draw spells. And just like hope for... I was gonna say hope for like Tinker, but these are these are all my splash cards and none of the right mana to cast them. So we're gonna put those all back and shuffle away. We're gonna not show Emerald yet. I mean, we are just so far behind. They have 7 cards in hand. Saga Gaming. Miharu, what happened to you? Where's the oath we know and love? I mean, the good news is we're not going to get pyroblasted. The bad news is everything else. Kind of not even a bad Hullbreacher spot if I had one. Yeah. Oh, wow. We have really, really left the Oath Station. They're probably playing Coveted Jewel. These draws are not good for anyone keeping track at home. So we have a repeal, which is very good against construct tokens. But I also need to hold up Force of Will, so I can't exactly repeal right away. Need to fetch here so that I don't get needled by accident. I mean, it might actually end up being a I need to repeal this construct anyways angle and just hope I draw blue card force for whatever they do. Though it seems like they kept a much slower hand than a normal jewel hand, considering they are on turn 3 now and they haven't really assembled. Yeah, I think at that point this is fine. Well, let's just start by doing this. Well, now it's definitely fine. The good news is my spell is uncounterable this turn. The bad news is we probably die on the next turn. It's not like I have Vault Key available. I think I have to just pass. Maybe it was greedy to repeal that Saga token. But it felt like it was going to be hard for me to win if I didn't do that. Like, I still have things like Demonic Hercule. I just can't imagine that my opponent doesn't untap and slam a jewel or something, right? I guess the worst thing that could happen is they don't actually slam a jewel and instead they play like Saga Go. Yeah. I wish I could Demonic Tutor for an instant speed, because then I can continue to play this game where I have like Demonic Tutor, Hercules. Oh, they're gonna go anyways? Interesting. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I can't do much about this. I can't even PO for one because I'm just exposing myself too hard. Yeah, I mean, I have to just naturally draw a Hercules, probably. I mean, I just have to cast this and hope they don't have anything, right? There's just no counterplay. I don't have the right power level of cards here. It's gonna have to be get a Hercules, hope they don't kill me, untap. Even that doesn't really work. I mean, I guess I could draw Tinker. Even Tinker doesn't really work, right? Because I don't have enough mana. I have to draw Ancestral. I mean, they also have to just not slam a jewel right now, which seems highly unlikely as well. Oh, they just... Yeah, okay, sure, fair. All right. My opponent's cards were just much, much better than ours. I guess that is what happens when you mold a 4 or whatever we mold to. Our deck did not want to do the functioning. The good news is we are extremely prepared for this matchup, and we didn't even show Hullbreacher, so... Sabotage, Member Trap, Negation, Karn. And then I like things like Repeal, Dress Down, even Hercules. I actually don't think I like Flusterstorm at all. I know I'm going to kick myself if at some point I can't Merchant Scroll for Flusterstorm, but I don't think I want this island, and I don't think I want Mentor. Mentor looks pretty awful here. Just doesn't seem like the way we're winning the game. Let's try this. I think this is how I want to play it. Like, I really should have no fear of construct tokens in a normal game where I have full cards because I have repeal, dress down, all those things. I think it's fine to keep in a single Hercules as well. I think this hand is a keep because of Sensei's Top. Sensei's Top here should give me the ability to find a force if I need it, or I guess, like, that's kind of it, but... I think I want to spin now, in case I draw, like, a Lotus, maybe. Hullbreacher, Probe, Steel Sabotage. All right, well, we sincerely need to not... think this Hullbreacher should be better. We very much need to not die on this opening turn, and if we can do that, we have a bunch of our best cards in the matchup. That's it. Mana Crypt, go. This hand must be quite solid. Let's take a quick little peek here. Show us what you got, Miharu. Dismember for my Hullbreacher, Tinker, Mightstone, Jewel, double Force of Will. Okay. That is certainly challenging. What did they draw? A Monolith? This feels like a... I guess it doesn't feel like a Steel Sabotage angle. I'm really in a really rough spot where I want Steel Sabotage. How do I proceed in this game in a meaningful way? What if I, like, end of turn Hercules them? And then they have to discard 2 cards, in which case they'll discard one of Jewel, Mightstone, and maybe Dismember? Lets me draw into Sabotage, and I just need to, like, run them out of forces somehow. I don't want to crack my fetch here, really. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end of step Hercules them, put them to 9 cards in hand. And then I'll draw Sabotage, and... well, I mean, we'll see what they do. How many forces they pitch, how many blue cards they pitch. Oh, they're just going to force it. Okay, so we actually got a Force of Will out. Interesting. Okay. I still think I want this Steel Sabotage. I think the plan is... pass. We've almost gotten there. If they, like, jam Mightstone here... okay, they're not going to jam Mightstone here. So the problem with Hullbreacher is that They have a Dismember. So I think what we're going to do instead is just look for a Force. Repeal. Merchant. Merchant is a Force. Yeah, that's probably correct. Maybe I'm supposed to switch into a Mox. Hard to say. All right. Well, I have Tinker with Force backup, which will beat their Force. So I think we're in a good spot. I'll sabotage their... Fuck me. Wait, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I just have to use all my things on their turn now instead. I sabotage their Jewel, and they force, and then I force, and then I untap and Tinker. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I got a little dicey, but we got there. Sabotage and Hullbreacher seem to be super strong in this matchup. I really like this tech. I've been thinking, not me was talking about it a little bit, but Sabotage in the main might be something that is worth doing, especially if you have any value in returning your own artifacts. Oh, they're going to pass. What does that allow them to really do? Hold up Dismember, I guess. I mean, in this situation, we get a free look. Free 6 looks, actually, I should say. I don't have any Flusters in my deck, so I'm not really sure what the best card we can draw is. I guess a Vamp is, like, interesting enough. Oh, I played the wrong card. How does this happen? I'm so stupid. I just clicked the wrong one. Okay. I actually am gonna have to pitch my Tinker. It's really, really unfortunate. I mean, I threw away the free win, so... My top card right now is Demonic Tutor. I guess I could... No, I don't have any... We're just supposed to sabotage this. So stupid. All right, it's still fine. It's still fine. I just need to... Should I vamp for a blue card or spin for a blue card? I'll just spin for a blue card, and then we'll tinker again. I hate this game. I guess this also works. All right, everything is fine. This one also wins the game. Wow. I mean, it's pretty hard for me to play that worse than I did. I just clicked the wrong blue card. Okay, it's fine. All my cards are so good. Like, I had all my sideboard cards, right? Karn, Steel Sabotage. Super strong. Holy moly. Yeah. Man, that Hullbreacher play was bad. I thought I was gonna have to like spin, or I thought I was gonna have to Steel Sabotage and pitch my Tinker. But I guess I had Vamp for... I guess I didn't really have Vamp for Karn because I didn't have mana. Maybe yeah, I knew that there was a Demonic on top of my library. I don't think I knew lower than Demonic. No, wait, didn't I fetch? So I didn't know at all. It just Demonic came back on the top of my library. Interesting. It's possible I'm supposed to vamp there. Oh, this hand looks nice. I have a Force. I have a Hullbreacher. 2 Hullbreachers. This hand is gonna lose to a Saga draw for what it's worth. Not lose to a Saga draw, but this hand is weak to a Saga draw, I should say. We have plenty of cards that beat Saga in our deck, but based on the way I'm playing and the way cards have come off the top of our library, hard to say. Is this a Trinisphere? No. Is this nothing? Okay. What do I got? Top. Okay. Black Lotus, Sensei's top. Pass. All right. I mean, I have Hullbreachers, Forces, Lands, Spins. Saga? No Saga. Jewel? No Jewel. Is there any value in Hullbreaching now? I don't think so. I wish I had an additional Mox in here so I could play both Hullbreachers in response to like a Jewel plus Dismember. But I guess I have some looks, so. Karn. Really don't want Karn resolving. I could have technically done something else here, but I think this way is better. Another Force and a land. Yeah, we want those. So I think the answer is going to be draw Force, draw with top, play the land, and then pass. At some point, they have to jam a draw spell, right? I guess they don't have to. They can always wait for a Saga. Okay, here's their draw spell. Cool. Looks like they're going to try to use this to play Dismember. Went pretty well for them, all things considered. But I'm really liking the anti-Jewel tech we have here. It feels very beatable. It's just a deck that has so many weaknesses. It's all in on speed. Wow, they had Force backup. Does it matter which way I do these things? I don't think so. If I hadn't hit the Force, I would lose. That's crazy. Wow. I mean, what a beautiful hand from them. Jewel, they probably top deck Karn and we're like, all right, we can jam Karn first. And then it makes me wonder that maybe what have happened if they had Force backup when they went for Karn. Oh, well, the good news is my tech seems to work. The bad news is I had to hit really well for it to work. Time for the true test of skill. The PO Mirror. We're up against Italian PO Master. See what we can do. This hand is missing a Force and a Mox, but probably still going to be a keep. Obviously, we get absurdly destroyed by a mental misstep, but I think that's fine. Like the number of heavy hitters here that are going to be good in the mirror is A lot. And I think it warrants keeping. Well, they have free look at my hand, so now if they have any kind of powerful play of their own, they can just jam it. If they don't, they have to figure out how to navigate these powerful hate cards. Saga is definitely a start, but we do have repeal, so Saga is not enough. Oh. So Saga is enough. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Soul Guide Lantern. Sure. All right. So now the onus is on us to do something powerful with the time we are given. No Flusterstorm are currently available. Our best draw is still probably land or Sapphire. Force. Right, I'm gonna cast Time Walk. Looking for Moxen, really. Repeal. I think I'm gonna repeal this Time Vault. All right, I still didn't draw any mana, but I do have a force if they replay their Time Vault, and I still have repeal for some of their constructs. Man, I really think repeal is just great. I have been converted by the Fanoop school. Not the repeal mono blue school, but still. They're out of mana as well, and they want to make sure they make a construct. I have an island? Bro. Help a Justin out here. All right. I have to pass again. They're going to make a construct, and then they're either going to go for Volt Key, or they're going to make another construct. Either way, we have a repeal as an answer, so they might just go for another construct as well. Looks like they will. Before they get blue mana, I think it makes sense to repeal this then. We have drawn so badly. When we want to draw all Moxen, we draw no Moxen. And when we want to draw no Moxen, we draw all Moxen. That is kind of the problem with PO in general, is it doesn't really have smoothing. It just has powerful stuff. Yeah, it's a really powerful brainstorm too. I mean, I think we're in trouble this game just because we have not hit our mana sources. It's unfortunate because I have all really strong cards for the matchup, but I just can't cast any of them. My opponent has about 10 times my mana. I mean, I'm not gonna counter this again, so I mean, if they had the Saga still, I would counter it, but yeah, I guess you have 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you have so much mana. They have just so much mana. Just Ancestral. I mean, I can't even touch this Ancestral, right? If I had enough mana, I could just play it Hullbreacher, and none of this would matter. But I just have not had any mana. I guess I could have theoretically not repealed my I could have not repealed this turn, but it felt like exposing myself to a Flusterstorm was an extreme liability, especially when I know that this player plays usually a bunch of Flusterstorms. All right, I mean, if they have their last card is Fluster, I just lose. So it is what it is. Or Force. I mean, I just, like I said, we were too constrained on mana in this game. No point in playing this out. All right. So the good news is our PO Mirror cards are still good in the actual factual PO Mirror. Negation, Trap, Karn. Sabotage is might be. We might play Sabotage. I'm not sure about Sabotage yet, but you still are gonna like drop Island. The thing here is Flusters are very good. Hurkles are actually a lot worse. Dress Down is still good. All my cards are quite good in this matchup. I think the answer is it won't be Steel Sabotage. And it won't be... Like, I usually like to keep in Mystical in this matchup, but I think it's fine to just... That's probably our weakest card. Yeah, this is fine. This hand has Force, and it's missing 2 mana to cast Citadel with Lotus. Probably not good enough. If it was missing 1 mana, I feel like I would snap keep it, repeal like their Moxen, and try to jam a Citadel, which can't be flustered. Missing 2 mana feels like too much. This is going to be another one of those games where I have all the good cards in the matchup, but not enough mana to cast my good cards, and I'll just be super sad. I'm on the play, and my opponent is on a 7-card PO hand, and they have Sapphire's Mana Crypt. It's just going to be super challenging. If I hit a mana next turn, I at least have the ability to deploy some hate pieces, but because I'm mulliganed and I don't have draw spells, like I don't have a really convincing way of addressing a Saga if they just have overwhelming counter magic in their hand. It's just really a stark difference in power level of keeps. Like, mulliganing and my opponent having the 2 best artifacts is extremely brutal. Like, I have a good hand, but I just don't have mana. And I did put an island out of my deck, but I just don't think that you don't need more mana in this matchup. You are over, 13 lands is more than you need at all. You only really need 11 lands. 12 lands is totally fine. It's just really unfortunate. I have always expressed my displeasure in playing the PO Mirror. I don't find the PO Mirror to be particularly about how you play. It's more about the cards you have. I still think that's true, but there's always room to like have really strong Flusterstorm and PO sequencing, but a lot of the PO mirrors just come down to my opponent had a better Moxen start than I did. Having the ability to actually cast your 3 and 4 mana spells as the PO player is just king in the matchup. It's actually really unfortunate because I think this paints a pretty bad picture of like Saga in the matchup. I typically find that the matchup you don't really care about Saga at all in the matchup. And the reason is it mostly comes down to people throwing haymakers at each other and then somebody resolving a haymaker. All right, so I will negate this Time Vault pitching my Narset. Yup. I can't even really convincingly fluster this back, so that's that. And then I can force this Time Vault. And if they have another fluster, we lose. If they have a force, we can still game. But like this is I mean, I guess it's a little disingenuous to say because our opponent did Saga for a key. But the construct won't really matter here if Time Vault resolves anyways. So my opponent putting Vamp on top is potentially bad for us because they can get a Flusterstorm, draw Flusterstorm, cast Flusterstorm, and they actually win the Flusterstorm war because they have an additional 1 floating mana. So I actually have to fluster this, which is really, really sad. I would much rather them like have to invest a Vampiric and a Sensei's top draw and then do the thing. So the big problem after all of this is my opponent still has more cards than me, and they still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 more mana than me, and they still have a construct token. It would be a perfect opportunity for me to untap and kill them with Tinker, but I don't even have the mana to cast Tinker, so it's just really, really rough. My best draw is probably, I mean, I would say like my best draw is Repeal, but the problem is like even if I answer this construct token, which isn't exactly hard to do because I can actually cast all my spells and answer construct token, they still have 6 looks between top and fetch to find a Tinker or a PO or anything. It's just all really bad for me. Like this normally this is a great example because this is normally what would happen is we would fight over a game-winning spell, and then I would untap and I would PO and win. But the problem is I can't PO and win because I simply drew less Moxen. PO mirrors are rough. That's a good card, too. Mana Crypt is exactly what we want. But I don't have the mana currently. So all I can do is pray my opponent doesn't do anything on their turn, and they find 6 blanks with their top, and then we untap and PO. That's our pray and win. And that's a PO for 4 with no blue Moxen, which is, I would say, not very likely to win the game, especially knowing we have Island and Trap on top. Though Saga is good for us because that means that I think they deliberately, left a Saga on top on their draw. And where I don't think the Saga is going to matter at all. Like, this Saga token is more than enough. This Saga is kind of irrelevant. All that matters is if they have a counterspell. And even if they don't have a counterspell, like, they have a PO and a Saga. Okay. Well, oh no, it looks like they're going to do just the top trick to draw an extra card. And then spin. No, not spin. Oh, and then Merchant for Ancestral. 3. So if I change my spin for Mindbreak Trap, I think it's actually... So if I change my spin to Mindbreak Trap, draw Mindbreak Trap, replace Hop, I'm in the same position as last turn, except they have another additional looks. I think I just let this happen and I just go for the PO on my turn. I think it's worse. I don't think I actually advance my game state in a meaningful way to go for a trap there. I think it's just better to just go for my PO for 4 and hope it works. So I basically, my 2 cards underneath that I don't know about basically have to be Blue Mox and PO or something like that. And they have to not have force, which, like, I think that's fine. No, they found force. Yeah, I mean, we just, like, we're just really not beating this draw on a mulligan on the play with no Moxen. Do we have any reason to continue this game? Top, play, spin, time. No, we don't. Okay, I mean, we were actually, if that resolved, we would have drawn PO out Lotus. So we would have actually been able to go Mox, Mana Vault, Mana Crypt, Lotus is 6, top is 5, activate PO for 4 again. Oh, I think I also have Dress Down. Dress Down answers the Saga token. Yeah, I think we win this game. I think if opponent misses on Force of Will in their top 3 cards after Ancestraling, we actually just win this game. That is amazing. Yeah, this looks very winning to me. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean that's good because that paints a picture of my experiences in a pretty meaningful way. Okay. Rough loss, but it's Magic. You lose about 50% of the time. Okay, the battles continue. This might be mono white or bizarre. This hand might be no mana. All right, 1 piece of Moxen. Oh, they are on bizarre. They're on Dredge. 2 7-card hand after 2 powders, getting rid of a bunch of forces, but no and a grave troll, and actually every single Narcomoeba, which is worth noting. I actually think this hand is just not good enough to beat a 7-card Dredge hand. I think I'm gonna put it back and try to go for something better. This hand is better. Yep. So Hullbreacher goes away, Repeal goes away. I get to go top and then Demonic, and I can even go for Tinker right away. Though my opponent is pretty likely to have something powerful, so we'll have to see what happens. We might just get griefed and lose our Tinker, and we'll have to pick something else. But this hand at least does a powerful thing, so. All right, so no hollow one, no grief. How many forces? They have 2 wills, 3 negations. Soul Ring. I actually think that just makes more sense. I'm just going to tinker for off the Soul Ring here. They have nothing. So they have nothing. Citadel. See if they have vigor. No vigor. All right. That should be a win for us then. Just turn this mystical into a time walk. This is fine. Do that. Play that. Draw, cast. There it is, monk. All right, so that's deterministic now. We can just do a bunch of senseis and then kill them on the next turn. Okay, cool. Feels kind of lucky, but we will definitely take any game one win against Dredge. Same board plan as the first time we played against Dredge. We're gonna bring in these 6. We're gonna bring in the balance, and then we're going to take out Island, Misstep, Dress Down, Hercules, Narset on the draw is quite bad. One of our repeals, and our Citadel. I think Hullbreacher is a lot better than Narset. Can't be attacked, and can be played at instant speed, can't be negated, and does combo with Twister in a meaningful way. Hand is really powerful. Probably going to keep it. I'm not going to fight over a hollow one. My hand has got too much power in it to mess around with that. So, I didn't get griefed. There's a lot of downside to casting my spells on my turn, but I think that I need to push. So what I'll do is I'll play this land first in case they go for the Lotus as the counter, which I can then fetch and fluster. If they don't, then I have Ancestral with fluster. The problem is, of course, they can have Mindbreak Trap, but I don't think we don't think we have the agency to play around Mindbreak Trap in any meaningful way here. So if they have a counter spell, we have an answer. We also have Snap Ancestral still. It's possible we're supposed to play Pearl first for that exact reason. So maybe we could go like Snap Flusterstorm. That's interesting. I didn't play Pearl because of Mindbreak Trap, but if I have a counter, then I can't... if their only spell is Mindbreak Trap, then it's better to not play Pearl. Which is like my base instinct here. But if they have a Force and a Mindbreak Trap, it's better to play Pearl. Kind of interesting. I'm gonna still hold this in case I draw Brainstorm. Dope. So now, is Brainstorm better than Snap Ancestral? I think the answer to that question is yes. Because we still have the ability to do Snap Ancestral things anyways. So put back the Sphinx so we can tinker it later. Put back the C. Go Pearl. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done... I should have stopped for like a second and thought about what I was doing. I mean, this does let me spin and look for a Tormod script or something like that. So, yeah. So, the upside was found. So, that's nice. Cool. The upside of this line is this exact thing that happened, where I can spin and find a 1-drop artifact hate. Or bizarre hate. Or graveyard hate. Or whatever you want to call it. All right. So... I don't have a land, though, because I put the land away, which is the kind of thing I was talking about. Okay, they chose not to bring back Icarid. The question, I think the question, there's no question. I think the answer is just we get this Mentor in play, even though we can't trigger it, and then next turn we can do triggering it. But we do know that Mentor forces will underneath it, but we have Snap Ancestral, hopefully into 1 mana to play Sensei's Top. And then... we're going to 11. We could die to Creeping Chills, technically. So we will have to find a Tormod script. Unless I can force a spell somehow. Ooh, yeah. We don't have infinite time here, is what I'm trying to say. I guess I don't have PO right away. I am greatly concerned still with this current state of the game. We do need to hit pretty well off this Ancestrals. Oh, I don't have, yeah, off this Ancestral. Yeah, that's still fine. Snap. I mean, even just some Moxen are fine. Any mana producing thing is good. Yeah. That is a Moxen. I'm really worried about Creeping Chill, but they are pretty low on their graveyard now because they've had their Bazaar needled. All right, I have enough jump blockers for this turn, and then hopefully we can find the mana we need to PO, and then this game is over. That's the hope. So they can only bring back one of these, and if they do, they can't dredge anymore, so they can't really bring back any of these. I guess they can bring back one if they eat the other one. All right, here's their last dredger. Did they hit any chill? They didn't hit any chills. They did hit a grave troll, so they are going to keep dredging. We do have good blocks here. Like I said, we don't have infinite time still because if they kept creeping chill in their deck. But we do have Soul Guide. We could vamp for Soul Guide and then Soul Guide their grave troll and then hold open Soul Guide activation. That seems way worse to me than vamping for Mana Crypt, though, which is what I think I'm going to do. It will put me at a lower life total, but it should just win the game, so. Yeah, like I don't particularly think I'm going to give my opponent any more opportunities here, so I think we're just going to look to end here. Gonna pick up our Mana Crypt. And then go PO for 4, 5, I should say. And then that should just be what we're looking for. Oh, actually, I'll pick up this Snapcaster as well. We have 2 attacking monks, so they only need to be 7 damage each. Yeah, this is just automatically deterministic. So, and there's a Soul Guide too. Okay. That'll take that. We'll take that. Okay, last match of this recording with PO. This hand is a little slow and a little weak. I'm actually not sure if this is a keepable hand in 2023. I would definitely keep this hand in years past with PO, but if my opponent does anything powerful, I actually feel like this hand is a liability. This is a pretty prime example of how I feel the format has changed. I would pretty much always keep this hand in the beginning of my, even a couple of years ago with PO. But this feels to me like a bad idea. Yeah. I mean, I do still have like Play Soul Ring, untap Mystical Tinker, which is like the most crazy line. And I have an unknown draw step that can be a Moxen, and this hand gets good. Let's play it out for science. I have a sneaking suspicion that this hand might be a trap, but I think it's worth playing to learn. So like, let's think about it. If my opponent is on Bazaar, my hand is really slow. If my opponent is on mono white, there are also serious problems with a variety of their initial hits. If my opponent is on PO or Jewel, then we have problems as well. Looks like it'll be mono white. So if this is Archon, like, how doomed am I? Yeah, so this is a uncounterable Archon turn 1. No, human. So that means Thalia. That's also pretty bad, but could be worse. Mentor is okay, but not enough. They have 2 cards left in hand. So if they follow this up with Seasoned Engineer, I would say we were in trouble. If they don't follow this up with Seasoned Engineer, it's better. If they follow it up with Archon or Seasoned Engineer, that's the problems here. Yeah, we're dead. I mean, uncounterable Seasoned Engineer. The problem with Seasoned Engineer is, like, this Mentor would be really good against every other card. But maybe not Archon, but Seasoned Engineer is just unblockable nonsense. So, can I still win this game? I don't know. I guess we'll try. It doesn't feel like we can. It probably involves me immediately top decking Dress Down, if I had to guess. That is annoying. I don't think I have any chance to fetch basics here. I guess I could have fetched 2 basics. I didn't realize I had 2 basics. Yeah, I probably should have fetched 2 basics. I can't Mystical for Dress Down, though. Could Mystical for Repeal. But I actually can't repeal Thalia either. 4, 8. I need to win on this next turn. So it would have to be something like they have no play, and then we draw Dress Down and somehow do more things. Because this thing is unblockable, so I'm going to die to trap anyways. Yeah, this is exactly a good example of why I thought this hand initially was not a keep. And I think that's a really good lesson. It's 2023, you can't keep hands like that. All right, so on the play, I am going to bring in Karn. And I do like having Sphinx as an option, and I'm going to bring in all of this. And then I have to consider the fact that they do play Null Rod. If we play Null Rod, are we going to keep an answer? I think the answer is repeals. Don't really want Narset here. I do want Island. I don't really want Misstep. I want all of my big, powerful combo elements, especially on the play. I want to keep in Citadel and Sphinx. I think the answer is just... It's hard to pass an Opal on the play. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'll just get rid of Probe. We'll try to play like this. And then on the draw, it'll be slightly different because we'll have like traps and negations possibly. We'll see. Yeah, so I feel like game 1 was a good lesson. Now we're on the play. We're looking for any combo hand. God. This is unfortunately probably a keep because this hand is... I guess if I get Chancellor, it's pretty bad, but this is... I feel like this is a keep. I'm getting Chancellor, or are they still mulliganing? This hand lets me go Mox Sapphire, Merchant, Ancestral, force their first play Ancestral, and hope to win, but maybe that's not good enough. Like, well, the reason I say it's not good enough is because maybe we need to. It's just because you're supposed to try to win the game on the play in this matchup, and this hand doesn't exactly do that. And we did get really wrecked by a Chancellor, I must say. Yeah, looks bad. I think we lose this game. I don't know. Maybe I should mulligan one more time. I'm just gonna force this. I can't allow them to have a Cavern after this Mana Crypt, so it's just you have to force that. I mean, they still have Cavern, Human, Thalia with another Moxen. I mean, these hands are just so good for my opponent. They have multiple Moxen in all of their hands. Those are good mono white hands. Oh, Cleric. Okay, so we're not getting Thalia. That's good for us. All right, we did hit another Moxen. That's really strong. The problem is going to be this might just be too late if my opponent does something really good. But I have Ancestral, so see what we can get done. If my opponent's next play is land White Plume Adventure, I think we're okay. If it's anything other than that, we probably have an issue. Yeah, it's something other than that. Yeah, okay. That's better for us than an Archon. I think we want to hit land drop. So I am going to Ancestral on my turn. Bro, are we real life right now? Oh, we're about to play Is a Mentor Good Enough game. It's really actually kind of interesting because we have a really nice combo of Monastery Mentor double top, which gives us as many monks as we have mana. The problem is they have a rule of law effect that we were unable to counter. I feel like this is going to be a White Plume follow-up, which we can't counter, which is fine. They also have tapped monk tokens, which is actually really hard for us. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. I think we are losing this, though. Maybe we'll draw Swords to Plowshares. I kind of like the Tundra draw. It's just tapped. Yeah, I think we need to draw Swords to Plowshares. Or Dress Down. Dress Down doesn't exactly get where I need to be. Swords to Plowshares in this instance. I don't think this is lost yet, but it's getting... Oh my god, they have Cavern number 2 on Human for Seasoned Engineer. I was going to say, like, we can beat Seasoned Engineer because we have Force, but we can't beat Seasoned Engineer if they have Cavern. This is like the perfect stuff. Rough life. It's a tough matchup, or it's a good matchup, but it's still like is very winnable for mono white. They just need to have the right cards and have us falter a little bit. We didn't draw exactly a powerful enough draw, and we got punished for it. Like I said, I do like the mono white matchup as PO, but it is I feel like there are more ways. It feels like there are more ways my draws can go wrong than there are ways their draws go wrong. Though once again, it does feel like both of our losses are just our opponents really outdrew us. They had mana crypts where we didn't, kind of losses. But these are like the kind of losses that make me feel like PO is just not what you should be doing right now, unless you're playing a PO in Coveted Jewel. It's something I should note is that when I say PO, I typically mean a deck that looks something like this, or a deck that looks like this plus Sagas. A very traditional, has tutors and a wide variety of interaction and counterplay. Whereas Coveted Jewel, I typically refer to as combo shops or jewel shops, where it is an all-in combo deck that doesn't really interact with your opponent. It just does its powerful thing. I personally think that like I much prefer to play these very traditional style PO lists because I feel like they give me agency and let me make plays based on what opponent has, where I feel like I'm just coin flipping when I play Jewel. The problem is like those hands that give you agency, like the hand we kept in game 1 of round 5, um, might just not be good enough anymore. And it kind of feels like having agency and having variety of choices and interaction is actually just bad. Like it's just not powerful enough to beat the things that are happening in Vintage right now. And it might just be better to mulligan until you have Mana Crypt and slam your 3 or 4 drop. I made a whole video about that. Definitely check out that video if you are interested. I think it's called "Is Vintage Too Fast?" Should be Voice of Vintage episode 3. I'm leaning more and more these days on the side of it's definitely not as good gameplay wise as it was maybe even a year ago. Alas, you can only play with the cards that are presented in front of you, and that is part of the game. I'll see everyone for more videos like this. I hope this was enjoyable. I feel like we learned a lot from this league, which is more than I can say about other leagues that I have streamed recently in the past. Definitely in terms of range of keeps and PO. I do think that one of the things we demonstrated was that Coveted Jewel is definitely exploitable. There are cards that make your Coveted Jewel matchup better. And that's really good because this kind of deck is typically unfavored in the Coveted Jewel matchup. And if you can play cards that make the matchup better, that's very compelling. So, see you for more vintage content Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Ciao.